Emily was an adventurous 8-year-old with a bright smile that could light up even the gloomiest days. She loved to explore the world around her, whether it was climbing trees in her backyard or drawing pictures of her favorite animals. But recently, Emily had faced a tough battle against an illness that made her feel weak and tired most days. It had kept her from playing with her friends as much as she wanted, and she missed the fun of being a carefree kid. Despite her challenges, Emily was known for her brave spirit. She didn't let her illness define her. Instead, she dreamt of all the things she wanted to do once she was stronger, like going to concerts and dancing with joy. One big dream of hers was to see Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, perform live. She had listened to his music with her mother, singing along and imagining what it would be like to be there in person. On this particular day, as rain poured down heavily from dark clouds, Emily's heart was filled with hope. She had convinced her mother to take her outside to wait for Elvis's arrival. Clutching a handmade sign that read, "Welcome, Elvis!" in colorful letters, she stood tall despite being soaked and shivering from the cold rain. Her mother stood beside her, holding an umbrella, sharing encouraging words and reminding Emily how brave she was. The connection between them was strong, filled with love and understanding. Emily knew this day was special, and nothing could stop her excitement. With each passing moment, she felt the thrill building inside her, dreaming of how wonderful it would be to see Elvis face to face. Little did she know that this rainy day would become one of the most memorable moments of her life. The rain poured down in heavy sheets, transforming the world around them into a blur of gray. Puddles formed on the sidewalk, and the sound of raindrops splashing echoed through the air. Despite the dreary weather, Emily's excitement shone like a beacon. She and her mother stood under a large umbrella, but it hardly kept them dry as the wind whipped the rain in all directions. "Are you sure you want to do this?" her mother asked, glancing down at Emily with a mixture of concern and admiration. Emily nodded vigorously, her determination unwavering. She had been looking forward to this day for weeks, and nothing, especially not the rain, was going to stop her from seeing Elvis. As they waited, Emily watched people rush by, some with umbrellas shielding them from the rain while others hurried into nearby shops seeking shelter. But she didn't mind being soaked. Every drop felt like part of the adventure. Clutching her handmade sign tightly against her chest, she imagined how it would feel to hold it up high when Elvis arrived. This was her moment, and she was ready for it. Her mother shared stories about Elvis as they stood there together, keeping Emily's spirits high despite their shivering bodies. "He's going to be here any minute," her mother reassured her, squeezing Emily's hand gently. The warmth of that connection helped shield them from the chill in the air. As more fans joined them in waiting for the legendary singer to arrive, the atmosphere crackled with excitement. Laughter mixed with chatter floated around them as other children held their own signs and parents chatted about their memories of Elvis's music. For Emily, every moment felt magical, even in the pouring rain, as she envisioned the unforgettable experience that lay just ahead. As Emily stood shivering in the rain, her grip on the handmade sign never wavered. The sign was a colorful display of her excitement and determination. She had carefully crafted it with bright markers and glitter, making each letter pop with enthusiasm. The words, "Welcome, Elvis," were written in large, bold letters surrounded by doodles of musical notes and hearts that she had drawn herself. Emily poured her heart into that sign during the days leading up to this moment. She had spent hours sitting at her kitchen table, focused on making it perfect. It reflected not just her love for Elvis but also her dreams of better days ahead. Each swirl of glitter represented her hope for recovery and the joy she felt whenever she listened to his music. As she stood there, soaked but undeterred, Emily imagined how proud she would feel holding it high when Elvis arrived. It was more than just a sign. It was a symbol of everything she had been through and everything she still believed in. Emily could almost hear Elvis's songs playing in her mind, lifting her spirits even as the rain continued to pour down around them. Her mother glanced at the sign and smiled, recognizing how much effort Emily had put into it. "It looks amazing," she said, giving Emily an encouraging nod. "He's going to love it." Emily beamed at the compliment, feeling even more determined to make this moment unforgettable. As other fans joined in with their own signs, Emily felt a sense of camaraderie and excitement in the air. Each person shared a common goal: to see Elvis and celebrate his music together. With her sign held close to her heart, Emily was ready for the magic that awaited them all, believing that this day would become one of the happiest memories of her life. As Emily and her mother stood together under the umbrella, the rain continued to pour down, but Emily's mother remained a warm presence beside her. She occasionally glanced down at Emily, making sure her daughter was comfortable despite the chilly weather. With every shiver, she would gently reassure Emily, wrapping her arm around her shoulders to provide extra warmth. "You're doing so great, sweetheart," her mother said, beaming with pride. "I can't believe how strong you are to wait out here in this weather." Emily felt a swell of happiness at her mother's words, knowing that her support made the moment even more special. Her mother had always been there, encouraging Emily through every challenge. When Emily first fell ill, it was her mother's love that helped lift her spirits on tough days. They had shared countless conversations about dreams and hopes, each one filled with laughter and optimism. Now, as they stood in the rain together, those memories felt like a shield against the cold. "What do you think he'll say when he sees your sign?" her mother asked, trying to keep the conversation light and fun. Emily's eyes sparkled with anticipation as she imagined Elvis smiling at her bright creation. "I think he'll love it," she replied enthusiastically. With each passing minute, their bond grew stronger. Her mother's unwavering belief in Emily's dreams fueled her determination even further. She could feel her mother's encouragement wrapping around her like a warm blanket amidst the dreary rain. As they shared stories and laughter between raindrops, Emily knew that this moment was about more than just seeing Elvis. It was also about sharing an unforgettable experience with her mother, the person who always believed in her strength and spirit. Together, they created a memory that would last a lifetime, one filled with hope and love amid the stormy weather. The atmosphere buzzed with excitement as the sound of tires splashing through puddles echoed down the street. Emily's heart raced faster as she felt the crowd growing charged with anticipation around her. She leaned forward, peering into the gray misty haze that cloaked the road. Her eyes widened as she spotted a sleek, shiny car coming into view. "Mom, I think it's him!" she exclaimed, nearly bouncing on her toes despite the chill in the air. Her mother nodded, her own heart fluttering with joy at Emily's excitement. The heavy rain poured down, but it seemed to only amplify the thrill in the air. As the car rolled to a stop, Emily gripped her sign even tighter, her fingers tingling with anticipation. Other fans began to cheer and clap, their voices mixing into a joyful roar that echoed through the rainy streets. "Elvis! Elvis!" they chanted, their energy infectious, sending vibrations of excitement through Emily's small frame. The moment seemed to stretch forever before the driver's side door swung open. Emily held her breath as she saw a familiar figure step out. Elvis Presley, the king himself, emerged from the car with his trademark confidence and charm. The crowd erupted into enthusiastic cheers, drowning out the sound of the rain. Emily's eyes were locked onto him as he smiled widely at his fans. She felt as if time stood still while everything else faded away. The dampness of her clothes and the cold wind were forgotten in an instant. With her heart pounding like a drum, she lifted her handmade sign high above her head. In that moment, surrounded by laughter and joy from fellow fans, Emily couldn't help but believe that this was truly magical. It was more than just waiting in the rain. It was about witnessing a dream come true right before her eyes. As the car door swung open, the crowd fell silent for a brief moment, the anticipation hanging in the air like the raindrops around them. Then, out stepped Elvis Presley, his presence radiating charm and confidence that seemed to light up the gloomy day. Emily's heart soared as she caught her first glimpse of him. Her eyes widened in disbelief, sparkling with joy as if they were reflecting all the colors of the rainbow. There he was, the king of rock and roll, standing just a few feet away from her. The rain continued to pour down, but for Emily, nothing else mattered at that moment. She felt an electric thrill rush through her body, making her forget about being cold and wet. All she could see was Elvis. As he smiled brightly at his fans, Emily couldn't help but smile back, feeling an instant connection that made her heart flutter. She lifted her handmade sign high above her head, every ounce of hope and excitement pouring into that simple gesture. "Welcome, Elvis!" It read in bold letters, surrounded by swirls of glitter that shimmered even in the rain. The crowd erupted into cheers again, a wave of noise that drowned out everything else. Emily's cheeks flushed with happiness. She felt as though she might burst with joy. Then came the unexpected. Elvis noticed her. He walked towards Emily with a warm smile on his face and reached out to take off his jacket. In one swift motion, he wrapped it around her shoulders and said in his smooth voice, "You're not missing this show." The crowd gasped collectively before breaking into wild cheers once more. Emily's heart skipped a beat. She couldn't believe what was happening. Tears of joy filled her eyes as she pulled the jacket closer around herself. This gesture was more than just warmth. It was a symbol of kindness from someone she admired deeply. In that magical moment, surrounded by cheering fans and enveloped in Elvis's jacket, Emily felt like she was living a dream, a moment she would cherish forever. As the cheers echoed around her, Emily could hardly believe her eyes when Elvis approached. The rain continued to drench the area, but to her, it felt like a magical curtain separating her from the ordinary world. She couldn't take in enough of his presence. The way he held himself with such charisma and warmth made it clear he was not just a star, he was also genuinely kind. Elvis paused in front of her, his trademark smile lighting up his face. For a moment, everything else faded away, the crowd noise, the pouring rain, even the chill that had seeped into her bones. It was as if time stood still just for them. Then, in an unexpected gesture that deepened her admiration for him, he reached down and unfastened his jacket. With a swift, graceful motion, he took off his jacket and draped it around Emily's shoulders. "You're not missing this show," he said with a comforting smile. The warmth of the jacket enveloped her like a hug, chasing away the cold and replacing it with an overwhelming sense of joy. The fabric smelled faintly of cologne and warmth, a scent she would always remember. The crowd gasped collectively at his kind gesture before erupting into applause and cheers once more. Emily's heart raced as she looked up at him, tears of happiness brimming in her eyes. She felt seen and cherished in that moment, a small girl whose dreams were recognized by someone she idolized. The weight of the jacket reminded her that kindness could be shown in simple yet profound ways. It was more than just an act of shielding her from the rain. It was a moment of connection between them that transcended the barriers of star and fan. In that instant, Emily knew she would carry this memory with her always, not just as a fan of Elvis Presley but as someone who had experienced a slice of true kindness from the king himself. As Elvis wrapped his jacket around Emily's shoulders, a wave of gasps swept through the crowd, followed by a moment of stunned silence. It was as if they all held their breath in unison, captivated by the heartwarming scene unfolding before them. Then, as the realization of what had just happened sank in, cheers erupted like fireworks in the night sky. "Did you see that?" someone shouted, their voice breaking through the joyful noise. "He's so kind!" Others joined in, clapping and shouting with excitement, their voices blending into a symphony of admiration and awe for the superstar. The crowd surged forward slightly, drawn together by the shared experience of witnessing such a genuine act of kindness. Emily looked around at the other fans, and she saw their faces lighting up with joy. Their happiness mirrored her own, creating a magical atmosphere that seemed to wash away the rain. The cheers mixed with laughter and delighted exclamations filled the air, echoing off the buildings around them. It was a collective moment of wonder, a bond formed not only by admiration for Elvis but by the warmth of compassion and connection they all felt. "Look at her face! She's so happy!" someone exclaimed, pointing at Emily, whose wide smile could hardly contain her joy. Fans began chanting her name alongside Elvis's, celebrating not just the king himself but also this little girl who had captured their hearts. In that instant, everyone was united in this shared experience, a tapestry of smiles and excitement woven together by Elvis's thoughtful gesture. The rain ceased to matter. Instead, it became part of the magic surrounding them. Emily stood there, enveloped in warmth from both the jacket and the kindness of everyone around her. In that moment, surrounded by cheers and love, she knew she would remember this day forever, not just as a fan but as someone who felt truly special and valued amidst a crowd filled with joy. As Elvis's jacket enveloped her shoulders, a wave of warmth washed over Emily, pushing away the cold that had seeped into her bones. She looked up at him, her eyes wide with disbelief and joy. "I'm really not missing this show!" she exclaimed, tears of happiness welling up in her eyes. In that moment, all the struggles she had faced during her illness seemed to fade away, replaced by an overwhelming sense of excitement and gratitude. The cheers from the crowd swelled around her like a warm embrace, as if everyone there was sharing in her joy. Emily felt like she was floating as she clutched her sign tightly in one hand, raising it high to show Elvis how much this moment meant to her. It represented not just a dream coming true, but also a symbol of hope, strength, and the kindness that could exist in the world. "Oh my gosh! He really noticed me," Emily thought as she glanced back at her mother, who beamed with pride and happiness for her daughter. This was not just a concert, it was a celebration of everything they had dreamed about together during Emily's tough times. She could hardly contain her delight as she waved to Elvis, who acknowledged her with a smile that made her heart race even faster. In that magical moment surrounded by cheering fans, she felt connected to everyone there, each person sharing in the wonder of Elvis's presence and the joy he brought into their lives. It was as if time had stopped just for her, nothing else mattered anymore except this incredible experience. With every cheer and clap from the crowd, Emily's heart soared higher. She felt cherished and special, knowing that Elvis had taken the time to connect with her personally. This wasn't just about seeing a concert, it was about feeling seen and loved by someone she admired deeply. As Elvis took the stage and began to sing, Emily knew this day would forever hold a place in her heart, a reminder of hope and magic wrapped in kindness. As the concert unfolded and Elvis sang his heart out, Emily felt as if she were floating on a cloud of pure joy. The sound of his voice resonated deep within her, each note a reminder of the kindness she had just experienced. This day would be etched in her memory forever, not just for the music, but for the profound gesture that made her feel loved and special. Emily looked around at the crowd, their faces illuminated with happiness, and realized that what had happened went beyond her own experience. Elvis's simple act of kindness had created a ripple effect of joy, bringing everyone together in celebration. It was a beautiful reminder that small gestures could have a lasting impact on people's lives. In that moment, she understood the power of kindness and how it could inspire others. She thought about how she wanted to share this experience with her friends and family, showing them that even in tough times, moments of compassion can shine brightly. Emily felt inspired to spread that same warmth and kindness to others, just as Elvis had done for her. As the concert came to an end and the crowd began to disperse, Emily clutched her handmade sign tightly against her chest. It wasn't just a piece of paper anymore. It was a symbol of hope, love, and the magic that can happen when you believe in your dreams. She knew that whenever she faced challenges in the future, she would remember this day, the day when a rainy afternoon transformed into a heartwarming memory filled with joy. With her mother by her side, Emily walked away from the concert feeling empowered and grateful. She understood that this experience would stay with her forever, fueling her dreams and reminding her of the kindness in the world. As they headed home, Emily felt a spark of inspiration igniting within her, a promise to always cherish kindness and to share it with everyone around her. This day had changed her life in ways she could hardly comprehend, but one thing was clear: she would carry this memory close to her heart for years to come.